Every time you check your phone, you're training your brain to become a different person. Not metaphorically, literally. And here's the number that should stop you. The average person checks their phone 96 times a day. That's once every 10 minutes. Each one of those moments is a small vote for a specific kind of brain. Distracted, reactive, and increasingly unable to be present. Picture this. It's 7:15 in the evening. Your kid is telling you something. A story from school, something that mattered to them. You're nodding. You look like you're listening, but you're not really there. Your phone vibrates and something in you lurches toward it. That's not stress. That's not a busy week. That is your personality being rewritten, one notification at a time. Today I'm going to show you the neuroscience behind what's happening, what ancient Eastern medicine understood about this long before smartphones existed, and 3 practical protocols that actually fit into a real life. Not a detox. Let's get into it. Here's the truth most people miss. Your brain is not fixed. It is constantly being sculpted by what you repeatedly do and where you repeatedly put your attention. Neuroscientist Dr. Michael Merzenich spent decades on this. His conclusion? The brain you use the most is the brain you become. So what brain are you training right now? Every time you feel the pull to check your phone and you give in, you are reinforcing a neural pathway, making that distraction reflex faster, stronger, more automatic. Over months and years, that pathway becomes the highway, and your capacity for deep, sustained focus, the kind that actually builds careers and raises children, quietly shrinks. Here's how fast it's happening. A 2023 study found that the average attention span on a single screen has dropped to 47 seconds. Not minutes, seconds. In the year 2000, it was 2.5 minutes. That's a 68% decline in roughly 2 decades. Now dopamine. Because this is where it gets uncomfortable. You're not checking your phone because you're weak. You're checking it because the system was engineered to exploit a specific quirk in your neurology. Dopamine doesn't fire for rewards. It fires for the anticipation of rewards. The slot machine doesn't pay out every time, and that's exactly why it's impossible to stop. The scroll works the same way. That unpredictability is the hook, and it's not an accident. Here's what's actually being rewritten, and this is what I don't think gets talked about enough. 3 specific personality traits shift with chronic social media use. First, reactivity increases. The gap between stimulus and response, the space where judgment lives, shrinks. Second, deep focus erodes, not just at work. Your ability to be fully present with your own family, to hold a difficult thought long enough to resolve it. Third, empathy blunts. Face-to-face connection requires you to read micro-expressions, hold silence, regulate tone. Screen interaction strips all of that out. Over time, you lose practice in the skills that make you effective as a leader and present as a parent. One more piece. Neuroscientists call it the default mode network, your brain's resting state. When you're not focused on a task, this network activates. It's how you process emotions, consolidate memory, build your sense of self, imagine the future. This is not idle time. This is essential time. A 2019 study in Nature Human Behavior found that high social media use is directly associated with suppression of this network. Social media hasn't just taken your attention. It's taken the time your brain uses to become you. Here's what's remarkable. Everything I just described, the restlessness, the fractured attention, the inability to be present, ancient Eastern medicine had a name for all of it. centuries before any of this existed. In traditional Chinese medicine, mental clarity is governed by Shen, the mind-spirit housed in the heart. When we overstimulate ourselves through constant information and noise, we scatter the key that supports it. The symptoms: difficulty sleeping, poor memory, chronic indecision. Sound familiar? Ayurvedic medicine frames it as a vata imbalance, too much stimulation, not enough groundedness. Buddhist psychology called it monkey mind, the untrained mind that leaps from object to object, never at rest. What all three traditions agree on is the solution. The antidote to scattered attention is directed attention, the deliberate, practiced act of choosing where your mind goes. That's not mystical. That's neuroplasticity described in different language. I know what some of you are thinking. I can't just put my phone away. My work requires it. My family expects it. You're right, and I'm not asking you to. The shift isn't about using your phone less. It's about reclaiming who is in charge. Right now, for most of us, the phone leads and we follow. An alert fires and we respond. We are being pulled. The goal is to become someone who uses tools deliberately, instead of someone whose tools are using them. And this is good news. Because if neuroplasticity works in one direction, it works in both. The brain that learned to be distracted can learn to focus again. Researchers at the University of British Columbia found measurable improvements in attention and working memory after just 2 weeks of deliberate focus training. Here are 3 protocols. None require a perfect schedule. All are built for real life. Protocol 1. The window method. 3 times a day, create a 90-minute window where your phone is out of sight, not face down, out of sight. Research from the University of Texas showed that a phone simply being visible on a desk reduces available cognitive capacity by up to 20%, even if you never touch it. The first 20 minutes of each window will feel uncomfortable. That is the signal your brain is retooling. Stay with it. Protocol 2. The Chi Walk. After lunch, take 10 minutes walking with zero input. No podcast, no phone, no music. Neuroscience calls what happens in this window default mode. Network activation. Your brain synthesizing the morning, processing emotion, restoring baseline clarity. A 2020 Stanford study found that even short walks without digital input measurably improved mood and creative problem solving within the same hour. 10 minutes. Outside if possible. Protocol 3. The one thing morning. Before you touch your phone tomorrow morning, do one thing that requires your full physical presence. Make coffee slowly, stretch, write 3 sentences. What matters is that you are training your brain, first thing, to be the one who decides where attention goes. A study published in Psychological Science found that morning routines anchored in analog activity were associated with significantly lower cortisol and higher reported focus throughout the day. Do this for 21 days. Here's what I want you to take from this. The person you are becoming is not fixed. Every day, through small repeated choices, you are either drifting further from who you want to be or pulling yourself back. Social media is not going away. The notifications will keep coming. But you get to decide whether you are the one reaching for your phone or the one being reached for. Start with Protocol 2 today. 10 minutes, no input, walk. Tell me in the comments what you noticed. Because the first time most people do this, they realize how loud everything had gotten and how quiet they'd forgotten they could be. See you in the next one.